right, injuries. Garoppolo will be out. Emory Thomas out. That's it.
No questionables?
Nope. They're all full.
It looked like we saw Jimmy coming off the field this practice week. How's he coming along? It's working out on the side.
Yeah, it was first week he was able to come out on the field, walk around a little bit, do some work out there. So we saw him doing his rehab stuff too as we came out. Good.
Do you think he might be ready for an NFC Championship game?
I'd be surprised, but I think it depends how this whole weekend goes and stuff. But I think it's an outside chance.
Super Bowl obviously would be he's still on the
I
roster.
think there'd be a better chance then. Yeah, it does.
Ambry, is there an expectation that he'd be available to come back at all? Should you?
Yeah, I think there's a chance he can come back next week too. I don't think we have to now, but he was an IR candidate, so I think he has a chance.
Cowboys ruled out Jason Peters at left tackle. So how do you see that matchup playing out with their rookie against Bosa?
I mean, he's done a hell of a job this year, especially in his first year in this league. So he's played at a pretty high level throughout the year. That's where he's been most of the year. So he'll be right back there, and it'll be a good matchup to watch.
Brock talked yesterday about he in college really believed he could make something out of anything, and sometimes learned that wasn't true. How would you balance his ability to extend plays and not make mistakes this season?
I think he's done a real good job. I mean, he's extended a number of plays. I think he's made a few mistakes. There's a fine line between all of that, but I mean, when there's no play there, you always want guys to extend plays. I think guys get in trouble when they start relying on extended plays before making the play that's there. I think that's sometimes things you got to be careful of, especially when you have some playmaking ability like that. And I think that's stuff that Brock has learned, and he's done a pretty good job of. There's a couple times he extended the play last week where he almost got in trouble, and he was able to survive it. And I thought one of the scariest ones was the one he threw to, I think it was Elijah or Christian. I forget which one because he did it to both of them there at the end, but made a great off schedule. That ended up being one of his better plays. So he's done a great job so far, and hopefully that'll continue.
At the end of the second quarter?
It was the second one he did, so I think it was in the third quarter. I can't remember, so long ago.
What was he like off schedule at Iowa State? Did you see a lot of that when you were
Yeah,
watching?
he ran around a lot. I think his first play as a freshman or in his first game, I think he broke like a 50-yarder and did some high stepping on it, which you guys see that come out in him sometimes. That's not why we got him, but it's definitely a huge asset that he leaned on in college and that he's been able to lean on to here in the league so far.
Brandon said that, sometimes, last year in his career, sometimes he wouldn't get things right away and you'd have to say it another way or have somebody else give an example or teach it in a different way. I guess what's it like as a coach, trying to figure out creative ways, every guy's different, of how to get a concept across and how valuable is it, rewarding to see that finally come to fruition?
I think that's really what coaching is. I think that's what raising kids are. I mean, everybody, you work at something, and it's your job to help someone and teach someone something, and that's really all you want it to be. And I think when you have players who realize that's what you're trying to do and they respect you, that's when it really gets fun. But not everyone learns the same way either. You can tell one kid one thing and another kid the other, and they see it a totally different way, and players are no different. So, but when you got a guy who's willing to learn and wants to, you always, if you try and they're not learning it, but they put the work in and they understand, but they're just not seeing it that way, then it's your job to find another way. And we always talk about how you frame things, and how you frame one thing to one person might sound completely different to another. And so that's why you can articulate it, but then you like to see the tape, then you like to show them examples, then you like to see how they do it without talking to them. And sometimes you can get to the end result faster with some than others, but the main thing, if guys are willing and you work at it, you can eventually get there.
Mike McCarthy said that he's not preparing for Brock Purdy as if you were a rookie. Was there a moment in time when you came to the realization, like, yeah, we've got a non-typical first-year player?
I felt that during the Miami game. That was such a high. That was a game with a lot of stakes. We were playing a real good team. He came in real early in the game, and we were under a lot of duress. The way that their defense was playing, the way they were coming after us, and he played all like a rookie in that game. And I remember getting home that night, and all of us being pretty down about losing Jimmy and stuff, and that we did get in there with Brock. And as I was going to bed, it kind of hit me that he definitely didn't play like a third stringer today, and we'll see how it goes this week. But we felt pretty good then, and you got to see when you go to his first start and stuff. But he looked the same way in practice that whole week and had a hell of a first start, and I think we all quickly forgot that he's a rookie.
The different overtime playoff rules, how does that impact your strategy if it comes up? Have you thought much about that? Or?
Yeah, I got a whole huge write-up on it from our analytics department. I'll read most of that probably at the hotel or Sunday morning. But I don't think it changes much. We'll see if any percentages and stuff they tell me change, but I think it comes down to trying to score every time you can, and that helps you win if you do.
A couple more, guys. Coach, this game has brought in fans from all over the nation, the 49ers. We talked to fans from Dallas, 49er fans from Miami. Tell us what the fans mean to the team and to you for a weekend like this. Do the fans matter?
Yes, I mean, you're trying to set me up. I'm not trying to be cheesy also and say the fans are everything, but they are. I mean, that's why we all love football, but we also all love making a living and supporting our families, and that's because the fans love watching this sport. And the more they get into it, the bigger the sport is. And I've been a fan of football my whole life. I think I was as big as a fan as you can be, and I was always the fan of wherever my dad was working. But when you watch people who have the same passion and stuff, who feel that same way that you can relate to, it's really cool. And we had a big deal today, just going back and kind of showing our players the history of the Niners. And we started with the 82 game, the catch and everything, and then I showed them the 92 game, the 93 game, the 94 game, and just to see all that history, that so everyone kind of has an idea what Dallas and the Niners mean to people. When I moved here in 92, I didn't really know. I just knew the Niners were the team of the 80s, and I felt like they were the Yankees of football. And I was in 6th grade, but all I heard about was this big rivalry with Dallas that I guess was from 82, but I was too young to know that. And then I know all about the rivalry because all I was here was 92, 93, 94. And then our players go there last year, and they don't really know about it, but it was cool this year to kind of go back and show everything. And then we kind of finished with our game last year, which was 2021, to show them that they're part of it and to see stuff might change. Some of the film changes and stuff, but it's all really the same. And it was really cool to watch and see the differences and to know that they're in that moment right now.
In retrospect, with the benefit of hindsight, that the first play for Brock against Tampa Bay, the blitz, that ended up in the big picture being, you think, good for his development there, kind of to get him, snapped onto the right page to be able to notice that stuff, or was that just a blip?
That was just a blip. I think it was good for that game because he got hit so hard and he didn't get injured from it. Sometimes that just gets you a lot more alert. But he was just amped up and ready to go, and he got a little overzealous on the check and made a quick mistake, and he's been pretty good at not making them again. But that was an interesting first play, probably one of the worst guys that you could miss protection against in Keanu Neal. But fortunately, he got 15 yards out of it.
Is there a moment, maybe the Miami game where he hit Kittle on the cover zero, where you look at it in hindsight now and you're like, oh, maybe something clicked for him on a game day kind of level?
Yeah, I think it happened a number of times in that first game. Like, I think there was just a couple times he came out and he had a guy there who was open, but he thought he might be able to get a guy deeper, or maybe a guy who could maybe be more open if he looked to someone else. And he did that a couple times in that game, and he ended up with no yards. And I think I think that is good that happened, because you got to go in there and understand it. I love the attitude. I mean, you'd always take the longer one. Chicks dig the long ball. And there's a reason for that. It's a lot more fun and easier, and that's why I like the mentality of Brock. But if you go out there looking for that every single time, like, you're going to learn the hard way. So you got to be aggressive, attack what they give you, never hesitate to go if they give you that one. But you can ride with a guy with that type of mentality, that type of attitude, but you don't want people being stupid and deciding on Wednesday where they're going with that ball. You got to decide in that pocket, and you realize that he is an aggressive dude, but he learns this is the league. People are fast. You got to make the right decision. You can't just go for the more fun one.
Hey, Coach, we're in from San Antonio. Can you give me your assessment of Spencer, just how he's played his rookie season and how he did in his first playoff game, and just what it is you like about him in general?
He's done a great job. some of the people we lost in our O-line last year and some of the new things we had to do this year going into the draft, and to be able to, we took a shot on him there in the 4th round. He had a lot of talent, got to play a lot there, but we didn't know if he'd be able to come in and be ready right away. We thought we might have to develop him a little bit, and for him to come in and us throw him there right in OTAs and him be able to hold that spot down, he's done a great job. Battled through an ankle sprain about a month ago. But it was really cool because I thought last week was his best game of the year. So he's been getting better each game, and he's got a chance to really help us here over the next few years.
How was the Niner Cowboy stuff presented? Did you have old TV copy or?
Yeah, I just watched all the games, and they give me we have it all intercutted, so I can just pick plays that I like and stuff like that. And you gotta pick the right ones, or it takes way too long. So. I did. Oh, in 93? I didn't do much in 93. I did in 92. He got a big jump ball. It was cool. He got a big one. It was on Eric Davis. It was an unbelievable jump ball. Had him covered well. It was a skinny pump, and made the play. But it was also cool then to show the things that Eric Davis did 2 years later in 94 with that third play, the pick six. The next drive on 3rd and 18, stripping Irvin on the fumble. It was just cool to see how it's cool to show them Steve and all the pressure that was on him in 92, and then to try again in 93 and even get more pressure, and then to come back and to see how much it means to people when you got to really fight for something. And I thought that was the cool stuff to watch. All right, thanks, guys.